Well, hello, you gorgeous sack of haunted meat. I am Coach Mel, and today we are answering the question, what are neglected muscles that will make a difference in a fight? Oh boy. So this question is going to be a lot of fun. It should be as you're watching this, please don't go looking for a fight. Okay. I spent the first part of my career coaching beginner boxing and in a boxing slash fighting gym. So I did strength training, coaching for a lot of people who were doing MMA and grappling and Muay Thai and boxing. So I'm going to answer from sort of a sports standpoint, and not from like a conflict resolution self-defense type standpoint. That said, I do have opinions on the conflict resolution self-defense standpoint, and that would be the most neglected muscles would be the ones that you use to run. Okay. Please run from a fight. Don't get into fights. On the flip side of that, if you are a person who's looking to find resolution to disputes through physical force, I recommend getting into arm wrestling as an alternative. So either challenge your opponent to arm wrestling or run away from them if it is, a conflict that is happening out in the world. But other than that, what are the neglected muscles? Okay, so part of this depends on the type of sport, the type of fighting sport that you're doing. But I will say that I think every fighter knows like the general conditioning that goes into preparing one's body for a fight. We're looking at, making sure we have good core strength, good upper body strength, good lower body strength. So the neglected muscles, I would say, would be in the hands and in the feet. Okay. So for hands, we're talking grip strength. So obviously very important if you're doing grappling or things that require any kind of a grip. There are certain, grappling arts that require gripping onto the uniform. Even having a strong grip is really important for that, and that might be really obvious in that context. But when it comes to punching, you also want to make sure that you have a strong grip to protect your hand. You don't want the nice little bones in the hand and wrist to get damaged. And this was especially common for beginners getting into boxing as a sport for general health and fitness. The thing that I saw the most, of course, was people damaging their hands, damaging their wrists, even with all of the wraps and the gloves on top of it. If you're punching with a loose wrist or a loose hand, you're going to be more likely to jam your wrist, jam your fingers, damage the hand. And you really want to be able to squeeze at full force just right at the end of each punch. You don't want to constantly squeeze because that wastes energy in the context of a sport that has a punch in it, but you do want to be able to contract with full force at the end of each punch, and that will help protect not only your hand and your wrist, but also your elbow and your shoulder. And this is an important concept in weightlifting as well. Oftentimes, beginners will be too loose in their grip on something like a chest press or a shoulder press, and that will have a negative impact on the wrist pain, elbow pain, joint pain can often be avoided by really paying attention to that grip, getting that good crushing grip. So grip strength, work your grip strength. That would be very important. Working grip strength, working forearms, which are integral part of grip strength is your forearms. So the muscles in the forearms, and your grip strength make a huge difference when it comes to any sport that involves a punch. For the feet, now, oftentimes boxing training already addresses this because you're doing a lot of jump rope in boxing training generally as part of the conditioning for that sport. But it was a common problem, especially like within Muay Thai, where the front of the shin muscle, the anterior tibialis, was not strong or padded enough, and it would result in more injuries there, even though they're wearing the shin guards. So shins, that's responsible for bringing the toes up towards the ceiling, and also the calves, right? So we want to make sure that shins, calves, feet are all really in good working order so that you can be fast on your feet, number one, so that if you're kicking, that you don't end up having that force, that force from the kick just barrel up into the knee or into the ankle without any shock absorption or nothing to stop it. If your foot is nice and strong and you can absorb some of that shock in the calves, in the shins, in that anterior tibialis, that's going to help you with that as well. And feet are also amazing for balance. Calves, shins, the anterior tibialis, and feet, all of those muscles are so important for balance, and staying on balance is important for any fighting sport. So those are the two main things that I would cite, would be the shins, calves, and forearms. And if I had to pick one more, I would say the side abs, the obliques, the specifically the ones on the sides, if you're into a punching sport like boxing, because even if your defense is really good, chances are you're going to have to occasionally take a punch to the side of the torso, and having that muscle nice and resilient right there is going to help out with that a lot. Best muscle for that would be your side bends. Oh my gosh, I could go on. Now I'm thinking about the neck. Neck exercise is so important, especially if you're going to be getting hit in the head at all as part of your sport. So really, it can be very sport specific, but you want to think about some of those smaller muscle groups, the ones that you don't necessarily see and think, oh, well, I think of my biceps, I think of my quads, but yeah, forearms, neck, feet, all of these things are going to play an integral role on making sure that you're performing at your best for any fighting sport, because it is high intensity. There's a lot of wild cards thrown into there, a lot of things that can go wrong, especially if you're not just doing choreographed fighting sport, but also sparring fighting sport. When it comes to sparring, there's a lot of random things that can go wrong. So make sure that you're paying attention to some of those smaller muscle groups as well. And you're going to have more fun, and it's going to be awesome. Like I said, if you're not into a fighting sport, there's still plenty of application for all of these things. And if you're not into a fighting sport and just want to know more like self-defense stuff, again, this is not what this video is. Please don't try to like do some wrist curls and then go start a fight with somebody in a bar. Avoid conflict. But if you are interested in strengthening the whole body, that is definitely something I can help you out with. General strength, general conditioning. I do online live Zoom classes, as well as nutrition plans and everything you need to be successful without having to drive to the gym, do hours at the gym, drive home, blah, blah, blah. You do it all in your house, get it done, bada bing, bada boom, good accountability, nice supportive people. You can go to www.thenerdgym.com, sign up for any membership level, get a consultation with me, one-on-one consultation, and we'll see if it's the right match for you, okay? All right, until then, pop your questions in the comments, and I will see you next time. Bye.